Hey everyone, and welcome back for another week of Digital Dispatch. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend catching up on all the cool new tech stories out there. I know I did. So much happening these days in the world of automation. Speaking of which, we are diving deep this week into a fascinating example of robots and humans not battling for dominance, but actually working together.
Interesting.
We're talking about the Carter Pro robot from Robust AI. Now, this isn't some far-off sci-fi scenario. This is happening right now in warehouses, just like ones you probably see every day. So if you're ready to learn about a robot that you can pick up and move, why it uses cameras instead of LiDAR, and what it has to do with DHL, well, stick around.
Sounds good. I'm excited to dig in and see what this Carter Pro is all about. The idea of humans and robots collaborating in a warehouse setting, that's definitely where things are headed.
Yeah, and Robust AI seem to be really thinking about the human element here,
Mm.
which is, I think, pretty critical if this whole robots and humans working together thing is really going to, take off.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to prioritize safety and make sure the robots are truly designed to work with people, not just around them.
Right. So let's start with the basics. What does this Carter Pro actually look like, and what's its main job in the warehouse?
Okay, so picture this. It's kind of a sleek, boxy robot on wheels, stands about waist high, and it has this very prominent bright orange handlebar on top.
A handlebar.
Yeah, kind of a striking design choice, actually, but it's there for a reason. It allows a worker to easily take control of the robot with just one hand.
I see, so they can just kind of grab it and move it around if they need to.
Exactly. Now, in terms of what it does, it's designed to move materials around the warehouse. But here's the really cool part. It's built to operate with those standard off-the-shelf shelving units that you see in pretty much every warehouse.
So they're not having to redesign the whole warehouse to fit these robots in?
Nope, they're specifically building it to fit into existing spaces, which makes it much more practical for businesses to adopt, I think.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's navigating these, sometimes, I imagine, very busy, kind of chaotic environments alongside humans. Safety's got to be a big concern.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where that handlebar I mentioned comes into play, right?
Right.
You can literally grab the robot and move it out of the way if you need to, or if there's an unexpected situation.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it directly addresses one of the big challenges with, integrating robots into workplaces. We've seen it with other technologies like forklifts.
Yeah.
They can be incredibly useful, but they also come with a history of accidents and injuries. Robust AI is clearly trying to get ahead of that and make safety a core part of the Carter Pro's design.
And this idea of human-robot interaction, it sounds like that's pretty central to their philosophy.
Oh, yeah, very much so. It's often shortened to HRI, and, it's not a new concept, but they're really baking it into the DNA of this robot. And it's interesting, their CTO, Rodney Brooks, actually has a deep background in this area. He founded a company called Rethink Robotics, which was also known for its focus on HRI.
Okay, so he's not new to this whole robot-human collaboration thing.
Nope, definitely not. And that experience really seems to be showing in the Carter Pro.
That's cool. So we've talked a lot about the design and, the safety features.
Yeah.
But how the tech behind it? Like, how does this thing navigate?
Well, that's actually one of the most intriguing aspects of the Carter Pro.
Okay, what is it?
They've chosen to use cameras for navigation instead of LiDAR, which is what a lot of robots rely on.
Like shower.
Yeah, LiDAR. It uses lasers to create a 3D map of the environment. It's often the go-to for robot navigation, but Robust AI went a different route here.
Why is that?
Well, cameras, while they require more sophisticated AI to actually interpret the visual data, they can be significantly more cost-effective than LiDAR. Interesting. And potentially even better suited for the kind of dynamic, visually rich environment of a warehouse where you have lots of people and objects moving around all the time.
Okay, so cameras cheaper, maybe even work better in this setting. Sounds like a win-win.
It could be. Though, it's worth noting that there's a trade-off there.
What's that?
The AI required to make sense of all that camera data is much more complex than what you need for LiDAR.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So this isn't just some prototype sitting in a lab somewhere.
Yeah.
This is actually being used out in the real world, right?
Oh, yeah. Carter Pro is already being tested by several companies, and they've even landed a pretty big fish as their first major customer. DHL.
DHL.
Yeah, the logistics giant.
Interesting.
They're doing real-world testing with Carter Pro within their network of warehouses, which is, absolutely invaluable for refining the robot's capabilities and seeing how it performs in those demanding environments.
Yeah, that's got to be a ton of useful data for them.
Definitely. And what's also interesting is that robust AI seem to be learning from some of the, shall we say, missteps of other robotics companies.
Like what?
Well, remember what happened with Walmart a while back?
Oh, when they shut down their whole robotics program.
Yeah, and that left some of their robotics partners in a bit of a tough spot.
Right, kind of stranded.
It was a good reminder that even these big companies can change their strategy, and that diversification is key for any robotics startup. And it looks like robust AI is taking that to heart.
How so?
They're actively working to diversify their customer base, so they're not overly reliant on any single partner like what happened with Walmart.
That's a good move. Spread the risk a little bit.
Exactly. So yeah, this Carter Pro, it's not just a cool piece of tech, it's a sign of how the workplace is evolving.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating look into the future of, humans and robots working side by side.
Mhm.
So as we wrap up here, what's the key takeaway you'd like listeners to walk away with?
Well, I think the Carter Pro is a great example of how robots can be designed to truly collaborate with humans, not just replace them.
Right.
And as these kinds of robots become more common in warehouses and other industries, it's important to think about the broader implications for workers.
Like what?
Like, how will their roles and responsibilities change? What new skills might they need to learn?
Yeah, we can't just focus on the tech. We have to think about the human side of the equation, too.
Absolutely. It's about adapting and arriving alongside these technologies.
So much to think about. So to all our listeners out there, what are your thoughts on this human-robot collaboration trend? What new skills do you think will be most valuable in a future where robots are our teammates? Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your insights. And as always, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Don't forget to like and share this with your fellow tech enthusiasts. We'll catch you next time with another exciting deep dive. Have a wonderful week ahead, and stay tuned for more cool, optimistic science and tech stories.